Welcome back. It's day 14, and today we've got a seriously fascinating explainer lined up. We're going to take a deep dive, literally, into the distinct layers that actually make up the internet ecosystem. So think about it. What actually lies beneath the visible internet? When you open your browser, you're really only seeing just a tiny fraction of what's actually out there. Today, we're taking a little spatial journey, diving from the brightly lit surface straight down into the unlit, hidden depths of the web. Here's our mission briefing for today. We'll start with the internet's hidden layers, then cover the visible surface web, the hidden deep web, and the anonymous dark web, wrapping up with cybersecurity and privacy. Let's get to it. Section 1. The Internet's Hidden Layers. We're mapping the digital ecosystem.
Moving right along to Section 2, the visible surface web, our indexed top layer.
All right, let's dive into this. The surface web is simply the portion of the World Wide Web that's readily available to the general public and, searchable with standard web search engines. Imagine we're starting our ocean dive right at the top, just basking in the sunlight. But here's the crazy part. This layer, it only accounts for about 10% of the information on the internet. No way, right? To really anchor this concept, let's look at some relatable examples. Common surface web content includes stuff like news websites, blogs, your favorite social media platforms, and e-commerce sites. Basically, if you can Google it and just click on it without needing a special login or some special tool, well, it's floating right there on the surface. To put the sheer scale of this into perspective, as of 2015, one estimate found that Google's index of the surface web contained roughly 14.8 billion pages. 14.8 billion. That establishes a massive baseline for sure, but remember, that's still just that top 10%. I absolutely love this quote from Bright Planet. They said, "Searching the web today using search engines is like dragging a net across the surface of the ocean." This ocean metaphor totally hits the nail on the head. It emphasizes that this massive harvest of billions of pages is still kind of indiscriminate. Traditional search engines are literally just catching the fish swimming right at the surface. So think of traditional search engines as a boat dragging a net. They catch the surface fish, but man, look at all the activity underneath. Tremendous value and data reside much deeper down, completely skipped over by those traditional search engine crawlers simply because they don't have the tools to dive any deeper. Section 3. The Hidden Deep Web. This is legitimate but unindexed content. Okay, time to plunge below the surface into the massive, unlit ocean underneath. Let's define the deep web precisely. It's unindexed web content that requires a direct query, a paywall, a password, or some other form of authentication to access. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is that this is a benign, legitimate space. Definitely don't confuse it with criminal networks. This is just everyday data that's locked away for privacy or security. Take a look at these everyday examples: online banking portals, your webmail, cloud storage, company databases, and paywalled academic resources. Actually, you're using the deep web every single day. But instead of a broad net, accessing this information requires a specific fish finder, like a direct search query, or your personal password. Let's contrast these two layers directly to really cement the difference. On one hand, the surface web is public and crawled by standard search engines. It's kind of like a public park. On the other hand, the deep web is hidden from search engines and requires authentication. Think of that more like a locked corporate office building. Both are perfectly legal, but one has strictly restricted access. Section 4. The Anonymous Dark Web. Specialized Access Networks. All right, now we descend into the deepest, darkest layer of our journey. The dark web is actually a pretty small portion of the deep web, but it's easily the most misunderstood segment of the internet. Notice the key difference in this definition. It's been hidden intentionally. It's literally inaccessible by standard browsers. To get down here, you require specialized routing software, like Tor, just to even see the content. So what really characterizes this space? We're talking enhanced privacy, complete anonymity, and hidden services. And look, while it definitely offers extreme privacy for folks like dissidents or whistleblowers, it's also, unfortunately, an ideal place for cybercriminals. They convene in these limited access underground forums to transact stolen data and trade cyber attack tools and tactics. To definitively summarize our whole dive so far, the surface web is public and searchable, the deep web is private and unindexed, and the dark web, well, that's restricted, highly anonymous, and requires special software. Which brings us to Section 5, Cybersecurity and Privacy, Monitoring the Depths. So how exactly do we monitor these unlit depths? Let's transition into some real-world application here.
Security professionals use threat intelligence to monitor dark web forums and deep web breaches. And why does this matter to you? Well, because by identifying vulnerabilities, tracking data breaches, and investigating cybercrimes in these hidden layers, defenders can proactively protect critical infrastructure and, ultimately, your personal data.
Let's connect this theory to reality for a second. We're looking at live cybersecurity briefings alongside the insignia for the South Carolina Critical Infrastructure Cybersecurity Center. This represents the very real, highly dedicated teams actively monitoring these unlit depths. They aren't just sitting around waiting for attacks. They're out there proactively searching the depths for threats.
And just to put that into perspective, organizations like the SCIC tracked 85 significant cyber incidents in a single year back in 2025. 85! It totally demonstrates the active, really high-stakes nature of monitoring these network layers. It's literally a constant battle playing out right beneath the surface. So I'm going to leave you with this thought. As threats evolve across these hidden layers, is your organization ready to dive deep and defend its digital infrastructure? Understanding the surface, deep, and dark web is the absolute first crucial step. Excellent work today, everyone. Keep exploring, stay secure, and I'll see you in the next explainer.